I'm building a private practice as a hypnotherapist. And when you are building a private practice as a hypnotherapist or as a therapist, it's a little different for hypnotherapists, but very, very similar. It feels like it's you against the world. But for me personally, what helps me to keep building and not being so anxious is like one is, and in this episode, I would like to break it down for you what I learned like 10 years ago that is still very much applicable today, especially when you work in private practice. Also, the lessons that I learned from healthcare companies and organizations such as Providence Health and Services. And these are the skills that I personally learned from my experience, and I have not heard other coaches really put that together the way I would like to put it together for you in this podcast, and the way I actually put everything together in my coaching practice when I work with therapists and historically when I work with experts, because a lot of principles are very similar. And what I love, what I'm excited about working with therapists is that it is so niche, it is so precise, and therapists make a lot of difference in the world. So let's dive into it. Take notes. So if you drive, you listen again, but please take notes because it is going to be highly educational and actionable. So when I was working as a psychologist in Moscow, so even in school, I understood that I needed a job. And as a new grad, even back then, I knew that I would have to have experience in order to get hired. So I was building my experience in a variety of roles, in a variety of ways. But what really helped me is when it comes to marketing, is actually marketing through building relationships. And this is very much boots on the ground. It's pretty much understanding my audience. And when I say like understanding your audience, and these are things that other business coaches would tell you to do. I was serving deaf population using sign language in counseling, in psychotherapy, adapting standardized psychotherapy counseling methods and therapeutic methods to Russian Sign Language. And this is very specific. This is very niche. And in Russia, psychotherapy is regulated and organized as a little different. You can go to public centers and work with psychologists who are available there, therapists, psychologists, special ed teachers, special ed specialists, and get the help that you need. It may or may not be accessible. Very good therapists normally have a wait list. But what helped me a lot is actually marketing with the community, in the community, going to the community, to meetups, do presentations, speaking at different events, like really meeting my people where they're at, and also adjacent jobs in adjacent countries. For example, I was a sign language interpreter, and this is how a lot of doctors would know me. And as a psychologist, they would have a referral automatic because they've seen me in practice. They've seen me work with their patients side by side. And when they notice something, or when their patients would say something like related to mental health, they would make a referral, because this is the obvious choice, because literally there was nobody who would provide psychotherapy in sign language. So this is unsexy, meticulous work. Quality is always over quantity. It's pretty much don't be weird. It's pretty much be be personable in yourself. And I understand we all have different levels of personality. Doctors don't care about your modalities. They don't care about your resume in your introductory email. They care how it can be beneficial for their practice. That's all what they care about. Can you be a trusted partner when you can make a referral to a doctor? Because this is two-way relationship, right? As a therapist, you might work with clients who need a medical doctor, and this is reciprocity. It's two-way street. This is the bloodline of private practice, to be quite honest with you, and not making it weird. This is the bread and butter when it comes to networking and when it comes to building a relationship. That's number one. Number two, what I learned personally from clients, they're absolutely, absolutely ruthless about who they serve. And it's beyond just niching down. It's we serve this population only. And that's it. We treat these conditions only, and that's it. We serve that neighborhood or that city or that area, and that's it. Why? Because marketing is a lot easier that way. It's real, from the consumer standpoint, people just understand why they would have to go to them versus anybody else's, versus any other practice. And also, they all, and I mean $billion organizations with a B, they all build referral network. They all, and this is so strong when it comes to healthcare. This is if you want to see a provider outside of that network, you kind of on your own, and it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because they really have really strong network of professionals who will get those referrals, right? And imagine if you are, as a therapist, have a very strong network with doctors, with hypnotherapists, for expanding your practice, with chiropractic, with business coaches, with fitness coaches, with nutritionists, with peer counselors. And this is going to be so good. I've seen it both ways turn out for me as a patient. Normally, if my provider provides really high quality care, they refer me to another provider who provides really high quality care. And and it's absolutely beautiful. So, $billion organizations prioritize networking, prioritize win-win relationship. And this is good because it costs you almost $0 to start building a relationship. It takes time, but it that. Now, I could never imagine, as a psychologist, as a mental health professional, that I would ever learn technology and how to code and be so comfortable with high-tech equipment and with high-tech things like building websites, building mobile apps. Even more exciting, because I can build mobile app from scratch, just literally, not even brick by brick, but line by line, really writing actual code, not just drag and drop components on Squarespace, on third-party apps, but actually writing a mobile app. And that skill specifically, what I'm really glad that I can actually handle a lot of technical issues in my business, in my private practice, but also when I work with experts. So in the past, a lot of my consultants, unless they're tech consultants, they were really highly non-technical, kind of like therapists, and just showing them and telling them how to, like, for example, what the website needs to have in order to be findable and recognizable in the age of AI. So ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini can actually find your website, right? What is out there, right? And it's not just, right, a blog. It's not just create a lot of content. It's like to be very specific on your website. But this is one of the skills, and also making a decision, making a like really helping my clients to making a technical decision, which technology to use. Which technology to use? Do you need a mobile app? And I doubt that a lot of private practice owners would aim for a mobile app, but certain practices, in particular in hypnotherapy, you can absolutely build a complementary mobile app that you can share with your clients. And it's absolutely HIPAA compliant, and you can build beautiful things with that. So, and more importantly, if it's a new era, it's a new horizon that a lot of therapists don't know about. But like I feel so blessed that I can actually walk them through the technology part, or like literally tell them what to do in terms of like technology, the website, the social media of it all. So because I was on YouTube since 2017, I have Eugene Moraes' YouTube channel. I have my new YouTube channel, Heart and Profit Podcast, and I have a YouTube channel, Gay Hypnotherapy, like newly created channel. And like once you once you do it like a couple of times, then it just becomes easy, and then you have this eye for, the design, the graphics and everything, and it's easier to work with a website designer and advise them based on my business acumen what I wanted to be implemented. So like this is another skill that not a lot of business coaches will tell you, because technical stuff is a lot. A lot of private practices, they don't build email list. Like, well, let's be honest, we don't build email lists as well as we could. And this is a miss, in my opinion. This is a miss. You can absolutely, as a business, email your past clients, like wishing them happy birthday. And, obviously consult with your board. But if you look at practices like Providence, if you look at practices like Polyclinic, they email me, and they email me often. And normally it's boring email that I won't open, but you don't have to be boring. And it's really that simple. But when you're running private practice, and if you're not a technical person, that can be extremely overwhelming. So that's another part that like I truly enjoy in my private practice, that I learn myself, not from business coaches, but actually from direct experience. And this is why I'm extra excited to work with therapists and what I do with therapists. So in 2026, how it all started in 2026, after my launch in January, I realized that I want to help people who make really great difference in the world. And I would like to be more specific who I help, because In the past, I work like majority of my previous clients were Black and Latino entrepreneurs in with expertise. And when I say expertise, like people who had like real jobs, not just coaches who woke up in the middle of pandemic and said, "Hey, I'm a coach." No, those people were had like 5, 10, 15 years of experience in tech, and they were building educational programs for people to get into tech consulting. Another client was a consultant for Black owned beauty brands as a brand consultant. You know what I mean? That kind of caliber of people. And in 2026, seeing what's going on, and also I had a lot of personal changes, and I really was questioning who do I want to work with. This is very personal because as a therapist, I had wrong money story. I like there was no Eugene, there was no other coaches, there were no other people who would tell Eugene, you know what, you just moved to the United States. Do everything in your power to get your license. See what would be the most affordable option. Do you have to go to school? Okay, go back to school because again, international diplomas. Not every state will accept international diplomas. Not every state will accept international experience. But like, okay, and like small words, small difference, like really matters. Right, how your diploma is evaluated, like what courses did you go through, what courses you didn't go through, how they word it in English, how they word it in Russian, like, and sometimes you look at the curriculum like, oh, I'm overeducated, but also there are a few things that like I don't know why we didn't have that, right? And obviously we didn't have like the U.S. ethics in counseling. You know what I mean? I wish somebody said, hey, go back and do whatever necessary to get your license back as a psychotherapist and start from whatever place. If it is hypnotherapy, do hypnotherapy first. If it is addiction counseling, do addiction counseling first, and slowly go back to the full practice, right? And this is the road, and this is expensive, and this is the road that you gotta go. And like, if you need to make a little bit more money, you can absolutely venture out to different industries, but keep your eyes on the goal. So, because what I heard from the industry that we don't make money, that we're not here to make money, we're not here to build wealth, we're not here to build businesses, we're here to make a difference, and we should not charge. This is bullshit. I'm sorry, this is bullshit. And this cost me like a 10-year pivot into tech because I realized that, like, well, shit, I need to support my family. I am the provider. I don't come from money. And my money story was, well, shit, I need to provide for my family. And yes, soul is important, but if my soul work can't support me, I gotta go. I gotta do something different. I gotta do something without soul. But then I realized that I was lied to, that it was a huge limiting belief in the industry that affected me. And like, there's no surprise. I did work in private practice. I work nonprofit with Medicaid and Medicare. I work with the most vulnerable people. I mean, the most vulnerable people. It's very unsexy work. This is not like this. This is not like, I did not work with in typical like therapy session and therapy settings. It's normally people like either with a very severe chronic and terminal illnesses, or people who were affected by just life in so many different negative ways that it is just scary. So, but now I'm back. And now I want to be that beacon of light to show therapists what is available. what is out there and how they can transform their businesses. What do I really want to do? And I decided to focus on therapists because this is personal. Like, it really matters to me. And I really want therapists to book speaking engagements, to book podcasts, build podcasts, to really build wealth and amazing, beautiful practices, and giving them the knowledge, the tools, and also finding it, like really consolidating it in evidence based philosophy. I am a big fan of IFS. And when I work as a business coach, I always bring the energy of self because, as I always say, it doesn't matter what you build, it won't succeed if you're not building it from self leadership place. As a therapist, and if you know IFS, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. So the energy of self is calmness, curiosity, is connectedness, it's compassion, it's courage. If you're not building from this place, you start projecting on your client, you start projecting on your business. And in IFS, like, your parts won't trigger your client's parts. Your parts will trigger your audience's parts. But when you, and as a therapist, this is your job to bring self, to be the self in the therapeutic relationship. But you can go further. You can bring self to your private practice, to your marketing. And when you bring more energy of self, you activate the energy of self in other people. And then we start like niching down, building network, building tech side, addressing your website, addressing your marketing strategy. Do you want to use social media or not? What content strategy and marketing strategy is more applicable to you? What is the messaging? What is the niche? Like, how else you can niche down so you can serve better clinically, so your clinical expertise can actually shine, so you elevate not just your business, not just your wealth, but profession. And also, this is exactly why I made it so open and accessible and affordable. It is only $3,000 for 6 months. IFS training for a few days is about $3,500, closer to $4,000. Don't quote me exactly on that, but if you go to IFS Institute, you will see like the number is out there. CBT program, it's anything from $600 to $2,000. CBT program, DBT program. This is the training that you take anyway to be a better therapist. And this is only for like what? Like a day or two, maybe 3 days. You are paying $3,000 for 6 months. One-on-one work with me, and you might be curious, Eugene, why it is so cheap? Other coaches charge $10,000. You charge $3,000. Is it a money story? Is it your internal limiting belief? And I'm telling you, this is a business decision. It's a founding rate. And also, I'm so passionate to help therapists, like for real, for real. So for me right now, this is not about just the money. I mean, money is important. I love money. I have great relationship with money, and I want you to have it too. But I also understand when you're running a private practice, when you need help immediately, when you have certain moving parts that are not together, then making investment in your private practice is a little bit scary. And when it's like $10,000, and also when you're kind of new kid on the block. I'm not new to entrepreneurship. I'm not new to therapy. I'm not new to mental health. I work with other experts, and this is highly personable one-on-one work, and you will get more than you pay for. This is, I mean, I could do that, but also, like, as a business owner, I understand with a new audience, you have to come correct. And I'm coming correct projects that I'm running on the background that can actually sponsor and support this coaching initiative and totally test and see how it lands with new audience. And this new, therapist specifically, all the business acumen that I learned from tech, that I learned from my business coaches, that I learned from my businesses, good or bad. I had really difficult times in my business as well, to the point that, there's no pride. There's only practical application. Like, I can't be broke and proud. I might as well do whatever I gotta do in business to bring my business back, with the understanding what is the goal on the other side. And I want to bring that to private practice therapists, to help them to build a practice from self leadership. Shoot me a DM, send me a message. I would like to talk to you to understand that it's a right fit for you specifically. Yeah, and if it is not the right fit, I will let you know. Again, thank you so much for listening and watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, y'all.